So, welcome to my show. It's called Tomorrow Today with Shekhar Natarajan. So, we're going to be talking about what's going to happen tomorrow or into the future, and we're going to be talking about it today. And it's a show about not about AI and where AI is basically like improving technologically, but the deep societal impact that we need to consider. We need to have answers to, and how are we preparing ourselves for the future? And on my show, I have the two best people that I would love to actually launch this show with. One is Nadja Atwal, like she's the queen of journalism, my best friend, amazing journalist, and a thought-provoking like person. Like she has answers to every question that you could ever imagine. And on the other side of the world is my other best friend, Kate Hancock. And basically, Kate is a two-time TED Talk speaker, amazing soul, and she's leading a beautiful effort called AI for Good. Welcome both of you, and I'm here to basically kick off the show. Kate, like, why don't you actually walk us through what is happening? Where are you today? Like, like you are in another part of the world. I wish like you were here with us as we launched the show, but you're doing something even more important than anything else. So please actually educate us what is going on.
Yes, absolutely. I'm currently in Vienna, Austria, currently attending the TED AI, and everyone's talking about AI and media. So, Shaker, I'm kind of curious, like the media often swing between fear mongering and hype when it comes to AI. What do you think the world is getting wrong or right about AI right now? I'm curious about your thought about that.
Yeah, and like it's like it's different like depending on who you talk to. Like the people who are actually developing AI, like they're all about like AI. They will let you drink the Kool-Aid about AI. And the guys who are actually drinking the Kool-Aid like feel that it's not like as cool as what it is. It really is contextual. And it's so much basic, there's so much going on like in the world of AI. And let's get to the heart of the question itself, like to the show itself. um like what do you guys think like are the deep societal things that we should think about in from an AI perspective?
Well, I personally think there's a big issue right now with disinformation that is led by AI, where people just feel they're being pushed into certain news narratives. And like, why would I care? And why is this being pushed on me? And is this real or is this not? And there's fake voices and fake videos. And that is what people are very confused by.
Hmm.
And we need to educate them on that also, how to spot. I think this is basically going to be the new art of everything, is how to decipher. How can we tell what is real and what is not? And why would certain information being pushed on us may already give you the first indication that you should look closer.
Kate, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially what's happening in the world, like whether it's politics or the current news, you don't even know which one is real, and everyone looks so good. And for us in the AI or in the media world, it's easy for us to detect, but for everyday people, they're getting the wrong information and their emotions get carried away, but they're all fake. And that's something that we really need to address. How can we identify the real information between the wrong? I mean, like, again, not everyone can detect it. For every people stress about something that's not even the truth.
Yeah, I'll give you my own personal experience. Like like I've been playing around quite a bit. uh Growing up as a kid, like we didn't have access to many things. Like I wanted to be an artist, I wanted to learn music, I wanted to learn like painting, I wanted to like play cricket. Like my father said, like you will make a horrible cricket player because we cannot bribe the system. You may be a talented guy, but like I don't think you should pursue that. And so I was always fascinated by art,
Same.
right? And so then like I started painting, I like, because it's been a emotional release for me from all the stress. And I ran into this new application called suno.ai, suno.ai. And it's just a music composition Um,
Oh, that's where I'm getting your songs from.
every time I compose, I'm sending it to you because you're my best critique.
I have to say, I've never known a composer who has so much range, because you're going from Bhangra to hip hop, and it's very interesting. But I think this is part of the appeal of AI, that AI doesn't care where you're coming from; it just gives you whatever the market will bear, right?
Exactly. What was fascinating about it was like dopamine, cortisol, all kicking in like all at the same time, and I was basically composing music, and I was literally in it for like 3 days non-stop composing music. And then like things started blurring for me after that,
Mm-hmm.
because I all I was doing was giving it prompts to say, use these types of instruments, like make this epic, like make this cinematic, make this like have these instruments play at this sequence, use these decibels. I had no clue of music,
Hmm.
but it was composing music as though it was something really good. And then I started playing it to my driver in India, and there was this huge festival where we organize Lord Ganesha on the streets, and people dance to music. And my driver said, hey, like this music is so good, better than what like basically all these guys have actually done, that let me start like playing this. The artist was unknown,
Oh.
right? The music is unknown. I am unknown. I have no clue. I'm not a Beethoven. I have no clue of what I'm doing.
Do you know how to write music?
I didn't even know how to write music. But here's the beautiful thing, right? I didn't even know how to write music. And when I actually gave some lyrics about some of the songs, it said it's copyright protected.
Mm-hmm.
And so it rejected it. I said, like, how do I hack it? So my computer brain started going off. And I said, like, let me add invisible text to the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave that to that system, and it simply took it and recorded the music.
Do you also think that was it also happening that when you put in the lyrics, that the system was conversing the mood of the lyrics into tunes?
Yes, so it knew that it is basically a devotional song,
Mm-hmm.
and it knew that there were stanzas, like it has to like pause and like change like the tone of the music, and then and you could prompt it as well. But what was the most interesting thing about all of this is these were like the lyrics were actually scriptures that were written long time ago.
Hmm.
It was sacred, it was protected, and I was able to hack into it. There was like like when someone is thinking about it, like there was scant disrespect to what I did, but I was able to do it. And now, like, think of me as a musician who knows nothing about music and can promote music. What you're talking about like can be applied to anything in the world as it relates to information content creation. That's the scary part. Like, I'm worried about like people losing their own identity, and anyone can do anything in this world of AI.
Well, Shekhar is an artist by itself. I've never met someone who's very hands-on into creating his branding and video for every talk, so I could see that. But yeah, I mean, the future of AI, like the cost of services will be dropped to zero, right? Like you don't need a lot of talent, you just need the technology and a little bit of zest from you, and boom, you can create a new music, like Shekhar mentioned.
So what we thought, like we all thought that AI will actually simplify a lot of work and let us use our creative brain. The first thing that AI went after is all the creative things. That's the irony, right? The like content creation
Mm-hmm.
as we know it is gone, right? Like like one of my friends' uncle passed away. Like he was very close to us. He was a guy who actually helped us get out of United States, and like get out of India, sorry. And basically, like when he passed away, I wanted to write a note. The note usually takes 2 hours if it's heartfelt. You want to reminisce, you want to think, you want to write, you want to rewrite it, you want to rewrite
But
it
you are a
again.
man, you take longer.
I know, like women take it short. But you keep going through that notion of writing and rewriting and all that stuff till you get it right. Now what do? You go to chat gpt and say, like, you want to write like a note,
Mm-hmm.
and in 30 seconds you can make it, like, you can say, like, make it as emotional as Martin Luther King's speech,
Mm-hmm.
or like make it like a Gandhi speech, or make it like someone else, and it would pick up the tone of that person and basically start writing it for you, and like, it's crazy. And then you start losing your cognitive brain in all of this. Where did your brain go? Right, like, you just forgot like language, you forgot like emotions, you forgot, like, what it means to actually breathe, you forgot like what it means to like have sorrow, you forgot what it means to be happy. We are
Or
parking all of those aside, and then basically just let systems take over all of our lives.
well, you can also look at it from the other perspective because we always want our kids to read. And when I read some ChatGPT lyrics and notes, I have to say they're like good literature. And I think our kids today should read more of that instead of YouTubing and doing social media. I think it would already be an upgrade, you know? So there's still a value to it. Maybe also kind of like, could it be a teacher? Where we're saying, okay, we're putting this in, this is what we had in mind, and we're getting something back that is far better than we even envisioned. And there is a takeaway. We're saying, oh, this is actually better than I planned it. So, I'm taking notes of that. If you're not lazy, that's the way you may go about it. I mean, that has happened to me where actually I learned from ChatGPT. I said, oh, this is actually an interesting nuance. It's interesting. English is my second language, so I'm still an eternal student. And then sometimes when I'm getting certain things back in a certain language, and what I always put it in ChatGPT, make it funny and witty because that's my personality. I want to have it. So I never want to sound boring and just informational. I want to always have infotainment. So I try to teach ChatGPT to reflect my personality. It's work in progress. What do you think of that?
I think we will begin to lose agency if you try
Mm-hmm.
to do that, right? And so I think, like, in schools, what people need to teach you to do more is use AI, but basically use your brain as well.
Yes,
So the
they go
don't
hand in hand.
don't like outsource your brain, because once you outsource your brain, then you outsourced your human aspect, right? Like, so if people try to use their brain for reasoning capabilities, to, like, all decisions are made through your heart, but like, it's just a head is your reasoning engine. And if you keep like delegating it, outsourcing it, then you begin to lose you as a person. So the role of schools and like education in the future is to really teach people agency. Like, how do I take what is coming out of chat gpt, how do I like have the sense of right and wrong, how do I control the agency and the choices I make with what is being presented. I think that's where we should be thinking more in
So
those.
basically, the combination of human thinking and AI is still the gold standard. And Kate is on the forefront of that. That's
Yeah.
why she created the Global AI Council, because it's all about AI for good.
Mhm.
And Kate and I both have sons. And now it's all about, thinking of how we're going to educate our children in the future. And I came across a school named Alpha that is very AI based, and they are saying, oh, we only have basically 2 hours of school per day for kids, and it's very tailored to the individual. Well, in medicine, that's where we are going. So the whole medical approach in the future is we're going to tailor your medical treatment towards your DNA. Now, why do we still have school that is one thing fits all? I find that actually very retro, I have to say.
Mhm.
I don't think, when I'm looking at curriculums right now and the school's approach, I'm like, dude, you really think there's going to be a 4-year law degree in 4 years from now? I don't think so. Maybe a 6-month degree in how to instruct AI to perform law. What do you think, Kate? What is your take on all that?
Yeah, absolutely. The education system is changing, right? Like free information are available way better than a teacher that's teaching you. So it's going to be a whole new metrics of how teachers will, create curriculums. It's all about output at the end of the day, because everything information is out there. I mean, everyone can plug in ChatGPT, and if you load better information, it will answer you smarter than your teacher. So it really is a whole new metrics, and that's something that the whole education system has to change. The teacher has to adapt, and you can't help student utilizing AI.
What I love about what the Global AI Council is doing is you're basically democratizing AI. You say, I want to make it available to places where it's a bit of a challenge, so where people need it. And it's not the privileged Manhattan place where we are right now, but, other places in the world where it's very much needed and could make a big impact. Tell us about a little bit how Global AI Council is expanding right now, because it seems to be on all fronts and in all continents.
Yes, absolutely. And we're here in Europe and expanding it. And I'm curious about Shaker with your company, you know, coining the term angelic intelligence. What does that mean to you?
So because we're so fascinated with all of the uh see like if you think about humans, right, like they've always been very fascinated about the unknown. And the unknown basically, like, people think, like, it's like Christopher Columbus, right? He went into uncharted territories, the unknowns, and he was able to create a nation. And so that risk taking of going after the unknowns is much more of a payout. So most of the companies, venture capital funds and everything is geared to solving the unknown, seeking the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but
I have a question about that one. So, when you say most of the venture capital is about seeking the unknown, is it because the most outlandish and the most new the idea, the bigger the chance that you are landing people who want to fund it?
yes, so because the payout is big,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, the risk and reward is higher in that kind of a scenario. But like logistics as a traditional world is much more of, like, it's an underbelly.
Mm.
It's very, it's very costly, it's very infrastructure intensive. It is basically, it's a cutthroat industry, like, like everyone tries to drag the other guy down by making more money, right? Like, if you look at any last mile company, their strategy is to lower the cost than what a FedEx and UPS does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way they can gain the market dominance. So we live in this world where, like, logistics is always considered a cost function, never gets the attention. And the only time it gets the attention is when people, like, begin to see problems like COVID. Supply chains became very popular. Like, there was a guy who was running like COVID even in White House, you know so the investments are not as high,
Mm.
and hence basically we miss out on the very simple things, like how do you predict deliveries, how do you drive precision in delivery. And and the boxes don't have identity, it doesn't know it is a medical delivery.
Yeah, I just had
It
a
thinks, like,
horrible experience on that front because I could not get my new replacement card of Amex forever. But I landed, thank God, with a supervisor, and she sorted it out. And it was a very simple error that happened, but it delayed things forever and ever. And then you compare that to other things we are capable of through AI, and you just simply think this doesn't match.
this, like, so, like, that's exactly the point, the cognitive, right? Like, our ability to solve these very complex problems and then forget the very simple problems that actually is going to be like life saving.
Like with this girl who couldn't get her medicine.
The girl
Tell us
couldn't.
about what happened with her.
So basically, like, this is a great friend of mine, like, he works for like Fortune 100 company. He had an 8-year-old daughter, name was like Maya. And basically, like, she was born like diabetic, like, like she was like, and then, like, when they were look like, they were basically, this was on a prescription drug, came in. it said like it's out for delivery, and then like it never showed up. Then she basically had like arrhythmia, like she went into like shock. And then like like because like she needed the medication, her heart and her brain like both were competing at the same time. And literally within 36 hours, this young soul, beautiful girl, full of energy, and this guy is like my bestie, okay, the girl just vanishes 36 hours later. And it's a simple problem, like like, and gosh, like we can go back and run this in history and say like like should we have gone to like a medical store and try to see or do this or do that. It was a weekend, and who would have expected that all of these sequence of events would just happen so fast, and just lose a kid
Mm.
to multiple things all at the same time, because she had multiple things going on at the same time. She had the heart problem, she had the arrhythmia, and like like the diabetic shock. It's crazy.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the simple problem was also
All
stuff didn't arrive on
the
time.
time, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, like you leave medication outside, and like if it is like needs to be refrigerated, and if it is left for too long, it is not effective.
Oh, yeah. It
Right, so
was.
these are the common challenges. Like someone who's actually like groceries, like today when you go and deliver groceries and it is to an elderly person, and they don't have the ability, they are in wheelchair, right? Do you expect someone in wheelchair who's actually living in the first floor to go fetch the groceries themselves?
Mm.
The delivery systems are not designed to understand that that person needs that care.
Mm.
Right, so these are all the common problems, like that we have ignored as a society, and yet we are like and like I give kudos to people who think about Mars. Great, like go knock yourself out.
I always say, if people want to go there, I don't want to join. I stay on Earth,
Yeah, and but like
Go to Mars, but without me.
but let's also solve the common man problem. The common man problem
Exactly.
is like I need medicine, I need consumables, I need this with high kind of degree of reliability. And so these are the problems that like like really hurt me a lot. And I worked in warehouses, I worked like I worked in basically like mega distribution centers, like a distribution center, like a Walmart distribution center is
You
like,
revolutionized.
yeah,
You revolutionized companies like Walmart and American Eagle, PepsiCo. So your whole thing is about what I'm understanding, and that makes sense to me. What you want to do is basically centralize and simplify our existing model of delivery.
so think about all the last mile solutions out there, right? Like what are the best ones which work, like that we know that works? Water, electricity.
Yep.
And in your house you may have 6 bedrooms and like 5 bathrooms, but you don't have 11 utility companies.
Exactly.
You just have one who's delivering. So it's the same thing on even on the water.
Yeah.
So the way all these systems were designed was like, let's take what worked for 1,000 door stores
Mm.
and extend it to 130 million doors called households, and hope that it works. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Mm.
Right, like you cannot like dispatch 8 people and try to be efficient. You dispatch one guy with 8 things, that's more efficient. And so every system was built like very inefficiently, and we're trying to perpetuate that problem by actually competing on that inefficiency, where the underlying resource structure, whether it's a warehouse, a truck, a driver, they're all there, and we're all competing for the same set of resources, and we're just jacking up the prices at the same time. You know how much it costs to actually make a delivery if I'm a small company today? If I'm delivering a package, literally 100 like less than 100 miles, it's like $15 to $17 a package.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
What is the cost of a garment? It's crazy, right? So like, how does a small company survive in this kind of a world? So these are not like, these are big problems of consequence for entrepreneurship, for innovation, for the society to thrive. And AI can play a big role. But while solving all of this, what I fundamentally found was the problem, and that's why I went after Angelic Intelligence, is that all of these machines that we have built were only built in labs and in corporate boards. Labs which were devoid of human touch
Mm.
and human thinking. We always thought that human is a bug in the system that we got to go solve for.
Mm.
It's not about basically saying, how do I make human a superhuman? And so that always bothered me. And when my son was born, I said, I'm not going to freaking leave a world where every human is considered a bug. Because my son is going to be considered a bug one of these days. I don't want to do that. I want to actually build a world where every human can be a superhuman despite their limitations, because all we are trying to do with systems is to amplify the goodness.
Mm.
By amplifying the goodness, you amplify their ability to reach their potential faster. When everyone reaches their potential faster, the world is a better place, because everyone is now making more, spending more. They're able to create dignity, they're able to create access, they have agency. That's what we as humans stands for.
Now there are, Kate knows that we are on the forefront on that here with the Global AI Council. Critics say, and those who were the godfather of AI, many say the ship has already sailed. We
Yeah.
are basically in a race where there are too many people in the game who don't care about the moral compass of AI. They just care about profits. Where do you stand on that? What do you think? Do you think there's still hope?
So listen, I think the society has proven over and over again that when things go wrong, nature has a way to reset it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you read the tea leaves out there of how many people who are concerned about it, if you, like, let's take like the Pew report, let's take about like the reports about like what people think about AI. There are 40% of people who don't know how to react about AI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's 60% of people or 55% of people who think AI is bad. There are 10% of people who think AI is going to be really good.
Only 10%.
Only 10%.
Kate, how do you feel about that one?
Right? So like, like, and people are
Gotta
like,
amplify and multiply the 10%. That was very
exactly.
fast.
So I think there is going to be a strong force to kind of think about how do we right the ship from going wrong, right? And what I will believe is what I'm believing and what I'm building. And if I'm building, I know that in this universe we all think that we are the lone geniuses who has come up with ideas. When you go start searching for ideas which are very similar, you'll find that there are 10 million people who are thinking just like you. Okay, the style of execution is very different, but they're all probably thinking the same thing, right? So I'm sure at this time as we speak, there are thousands of minds which are actually being very, very disturbed about what is going on, and they're probably building towards a better future.
Mhm.
And I can only control what I can control. What I can control is what I build. What I build is basically a virtue based LLM. In this virtue based LLM, what I'm building is taking all of the aspects of what makes us human, and I'm calling them digital angels. There are 27 of those, right? Those 27 angels somehow magically fall into 7 groups. These 7 groups are exactly like the 7 centers of energy in our body. And those are the 7 realms of consciousness. Magically, it all falls. Why? It's theologically right, philosophically right, and it is universe.
Well, that is why maybe the very well known and highly respected magazine, The Business Influencer, gave you the award for making global impact of the year. I think well deserved, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I know that you are coming with the right intent. And as you said many times, you had a fantastic career in the corporate world. you were top of the top way. Could have said it would have been a comfortable life. Instead, you chose to start your own company with all the risks that it comes with, all the unknown, all the uncertainty, and raising a young family in the midst of it. What are you seeing for orchestra in the next 1-2 years? Because obviously we are in a race that is pretty tight. There's urgency. At least the media is trying to suggest to us we are in a very tight race to save humanity.
Yeah. So I guess, like, like as I said, we can control what we can control. And I think, like, in the next 2 years, we already have begun to uh, take the world, which is highly human but least respected, logistics. And if I can apply the concept of angelic intelligence to logistics, then we can actually take it everywhere else, because it just becomes a service that is like available to every sector, like hospitality,
Mm.
to, like, healthcare, and like any profession where humans are involved. We can take the same philosophy, and the way we are building it is fundamentally different. And I have gone out to many countries. You and I keep talking about it. I've gone out to, like, many places in the world, and then there is a sharp, like, there's a lot of fear, and there is a sharp contrast between what I am building and what the rest of the world is building.
What is the sharp contrast?
The contrast is very simple. The current model, the AI models, like, assumes safeguard as an afterthought,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you build, you run into mistakes, you have accidents, then you put a patch,
Mm.
right? And that's not how you build the modern day machines. You build virtues as the native. It's built in. It's not an afterthought. And computationally, and the way you think about the problem itself is very different than how the traditional models have been trained. The traditional models is the humans gave the data
Mm-hmm.
to the machines. The machines took the data and is helping the humans get better answers. Now we don't like the answers, we like the answers, and we basically are, like, in this loop with them. What I am saying is, stop. Let's take what makes us human first. Let's take, how do we, like, what are the outcomes we are looking for humans to serve the human better. So think of the machine serving the human, not the other way around. With the current approach, what's happening is machines are behaving like humans.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are becoming machines because they're relegating and they're delegating all of their thinking to machines. They're becoming more mechanized.
So it's like a silly competition.
Yes, it is. So what I would like to do is, like, decouple all of this nonsense. I say, humans being humans, be human,
So that
be
basically.
imperfect.
So is that yeah? Is that basically? So is that basically, Kate, what is gonna be the escape for us as humans? That the ones that have the great ideas, that are the outside the box thinkers, that are the ones that have the experience that is unique, that have the vision that is unique, are those the ones that are actually gonna have the best chance of prevailing and being on the forefront?
Yeah, I love how your way of creating the company, Shekhar, you're like re-engineered everything. Like you've dismantled what's being utilized right now with all the LLM and Gen AI, and you're doing it like again, I love how you put the safeguard first instead of, you know, machine learning from human and inputting one way or another. Yours is like put guardrails first, put soul, and then execute with output of your company. That's it's costly, sounds like, because you're doing it opposite, re-engineering everything. But I love it that you're doing it.
Yeah. So, like, and, like, like, what we've also seen, right? Like, Kate and Nadia, this is what I've experienced. The biggest advantage of my life, if I step back and think about the single biggest advantage of my life, was about the fact that I lived in one room with 8 people. So poverty taught me something. Poverty taught me resourcefulness. Poverty taught me drive. Poverty taught me the fact that what is in what is happening today may not be the future that I may be in. And that's my life. So I, like, it everything that happens, like whether I was sleeping in a car or whatever it is, it happened at that moment. And you know 2 weeks there after that, my context changed,
Mhm.
right? So I want to believe, and if you think about, like, countries which are frugal, like take Singapore, has no natural resources, the world's largest GDP, and it has the world's largest per capita, right? How did they figure that out? Because they use their scrappiness to figure out how to become a nation, and very effective as a nation.
Mhm.
So when you put your heart and mind to it, you could actually come up with something as interesting as what I'm trying to do, without having to spend a lot of money. And so the way we are attacking the problem is using a lot of resourcefulness. And I think that is why I'm super confident. Like, there'll be 100 people who are going to copy my idea, like, and I'll be happy and I'll be flattered that they're doing that. Because if someone is copying, then it means it's a great idea. So, but the way we are going to execute that, and the way we are going about executing it, is very different. And that's what I'm excited about. And we're going to do it cheap, we're going to do it efficient, but we're going to put humans in the center of everything that we're trying to do.
Yeah, I have great faith in you. And I also love that Kate is, she's from the Philippines. And I was so impressed when I read 2023, the very nation that Googled AI the most were the Philippines.
Yes.
And my country, Germany, was not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always a little slow recently, but this is very interesting, So there is right now also a race on that front. And also the governments have to get with it. It seems America and England right now partnered up to be in the race to win that very um that very race to like be like, hey, we're gonna be on the forefront, and AI, we're in it to win it, and for good.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in.
Yeah.
So
So, I want to like ask you, both of you, like a question, right? A deep thought, like, like this is something which has been bothering me quite a bit, and like I want to get your, like, opinion about it. Like, OpenAI and Google and Meta, these are all companies which are defining the future of humanity. But none of those companies were given the electoral right to govern us as humans. They're setting, like, what we need to be in the future
mm,
through their tools. And I don't know, like who gave them the right. So, just imagine, right? Like, these guys don't run a government, but they can tell you, like, how humanity needs to behave in the future. Is it not very perverse what is happening? And how, as us as humans, like, that's the question I want to ask you. How, as us as humans, can actually, like, stand up to some of these things? How do we regulate this? Governments are not going to regulate it, right? Companies have no, like, need to regulate any of these things. But what is our role as humans to be able to stand up to this and say, this is how we want these things to work?
Shaker, I struggle with even opting out of the cookies when it comes to a website. I can't even regulate that. You're asking me about the AI thing, I think this is way beyond my thing. I'm just trying to figure out. I couldn't even do the parental control of my son's iPhone. He's outsmarting both of us parents on the laptop and on the iPhone. I speak with other moms that my son somehow figured out how to outsmart the parental control. I think we need some crash courses on that front, but I also will say this, and Kate, I'm curious for your take on that, but I would say, it's the same like we had with anything in the world: electronics, medical companies, pharmaceuticals that have majorly impact us in a good and a bad way, I think in the end, we're all learning by doing. And as for who's making the decisions, well, it seems the politicians are hesitant. And they're also hesitant because they feel they're between a rock and a hard place, because on one hand you want to give an industry the room to create innovation and you want to win the race against other nations. On the other hand, you also don't want to create a Frankenstein. So it is a very delicate duck dance. Kate, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Shekhar, that's a very good question. I think it takes a lot of that's the reason why we launched the Global AI Council, for all of us to be literate about AI, because we didn't even know, like you mentioned, we are a slave and wait, just relying on AI, whether it's being creative or our emotions and how we write our speeches, right? So I think it takes time for us to all be enlightened, and then there's going to be a movement for people. Wait a minute, we have to do something about it. I think it takes. We're gonna get there. I think people will voice out like, okay, this is not a good thing, but it's definitely a very scary future if not all of us are aware of what's happening.
And yes, we're hopeful and positive, and that's why we're here with you. And you're doing the angelic intelligence, and we're banking on it, Shaker, so you better deliver. Hence your award.
That's why we're relying on you. Yes.
And the cover of the business influencer, because you truly are a business influencer. So I'm personally grateful for anybody who is opting out of just the corporate world to get in for something of great uncertainty, just with the best intent. And that's what you are doing. And so thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What? This was a wonderful conversation.
was a
I love
great-
your podcast.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I cannot
this
wait
made-
for all the guests that are going to come in the future.
Yes.
And we were the first. So
and we're gonna we are actually, like, it's gonna be a fantastic show. We're gonna mix it up, like, we're gonna have a lot of interesting, like, discussions, and a lot of interesting thoughts. We'll play the future out. We'll like, we'll talk about, like, the consequences of those. So it's going to be a great show. And, like, I appreciate, like, you guys launching it for me, because this couldn't have been a better start for me. Like, you are like, what's your show like? It's like number 12 in the podcast of business education podcast, or?
yeah, yeah, it's interesting. The show that we are doing, Perceived Reality. That's why I said, PR rarely stands for public relations anymore. It usually stands for perceived reality, and that was the choice of the title of my show. And I think everything is perceived reality. I think today more than ever. But yeah, I think that what you are doing here is a very important dialogue, and I cannot wait. I think Kate feels the same. We cannot wait to see where this is going with interesting guests, and we're always going to be available if you want to have a conversation, kind of like a split screen with 4 people.
For sure.
We're always there when you need us.
For sure.
No?
Yeah. And Kate, like, thank you so much. Like, you've been an angel in my life, for sure.
Cheers.
Like, and appreciate you joining all the way from Vienna. I know it's midnight for you.
Yeah.
My best wishes to you, and keep up the good work. Like, we need, like, more champions like you for AI for good. And looking forward to connecting with you in the near future as well.
Yes, thank you for the invite. And what a great honor to be here as the first guest on your amazing show. And by the way, you look amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And now here's all his other outfits.
I got all my other outfits to go.
The fashion show is coming.
Good. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kate. Have a good night in Vienna. Live it up.
Thank you.
No?
Thank you.